Wouldn't you like to be more alive? Dr. Mike Coolidge here from Thrive Family Chiropractic. Do you exercise regularly? If you do, why do you think it's important? If you don't, why do you think you should? Why is always a good question. So let's dig into the why of why we exercise. First, I want to knock out a few of the more obvious facts that most of us should be aware of. As a society, we primarily associate exercise with a way to lose or control our weight. Now, this is definitely true. When exercise is combined with other positive lifestyle choices, it can help to manage the composition of our body. Additionally, exercise will help to reduce our overall risk for chronic diseases. Now, when I'm talking about chronic disease, I'm referring to things like cancer, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, to really name just a few. Lastly, I believe we all realize exercise is a great way to increase our physical performance, whether you are a high-end athlete or even just a weekend warrior. Now, if you said yes to my initial question of do you exercise regularly, you more than likely are doing so for one of these reasons. And for your efforts, I 100% applaud you. You are making positive change for yourself, and that is what really matters. So let's go ahead and get a little bit more into the why and how of exercise and why it's important. First off, I want to bring you back to probably junior high or maybe even elementary school to a fellow named Sir Isaac Newton. Newton came up with several important laws. One of these laws stated that a body at rest tends to stay at rest unless acted upon by an outside force. Now, why is this important to the human body and exercise? The idea here really is simple. The less active we are, or the more immobile, the less demand we will place on our body, and the less our bodies will be able to move. So they will remain at rest. Muscles really provide us a great example of this. If you do not use a muscle, it will become weak and will be less able to move. I'm sure many of us have experienced this after getting our arm in a cast if we broke it, and after that cast comes off, if you look at arms, one tends to be smaller. You can see where the muscles have actually shrunken and are weaker. Conversely, Newton also stated that a body in motion tends to stay in motion. If we are in motion, we are creating demand on our system, which will then adapt and grow to meet the demand, allowing for more motion. It's just like going to the gym. The more you lift, the stronger you become, and the bigger your muscles will be. It really comes down to the age-old adage of use it or lose it. I want you to think back for a moment to our earliest ancestors. For them, movement was survival. They had to move in order to find food. They had to move to find shelter from the elements or to avoid predators. If they didn't move, they were most likely going to die. Due to this need for movement, movement really places a demand on all of our body systems to create higher levels of function. Whether it's our muscles needing to be stronger or faster, our immune system needing to be stronger because the more we move, the more chance we have of being exposed to microorganisms that the body will need to manage, to our digestive system being able to process our food to supply our bodies with the necessary nutrients. Movement increases the demand, and demand leads to adaptation, which leads to greater levels of survival. Now, change is inevitable. Our bodies will adapt to our environment and our actions. The question is, are your choices creating a positive change or a negative one? Now, next, I want to dive into something a little bit deeper that you might not even be really aware of. Inactivity leads to a decrease in our body's ability to perceive and enjoy the world around us. I want you to set that in for a second. I'm not simply talking about depression here. Our brains will literally perceive less of the world the less we move. It goes back to what I said before. Use it or lose it. In day-to-day life, we all tend to associate our brain with our thinking, our conscious thoughts and emotions. The reality is, though, that only about 5% of our brain is actually involved in conscious thought. That leaves 95% of our brain doing things that we have no awareness of whatsoever. So how does exercise play a role here? Our brains are capable of change in much the same way our muscles in our legs and arms are. The more you use and train your muscles, the stronger and faster they become. This is something we all understand. Our brain does the same thing. The more you use your brain, the stronger and faster it can become. Your brain does this through a property known as neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to create new connections in response to new demands. Your brain is constantly rewiring itself to meet the demands of everyday life and to really optimize its ability to function. Now, it's been shown that exercise can increase the brain's ability to make these new connections. Exercise can actually cause your brain to function better. This includes a lot of different things, like increasing your capacity for memory and your ability to learn new tasks. It will increase your brain's ability to release your happy hormones called endorphins. It also decreases your sensitivity to depression and stress, as well as helping to prevent and treat Alzheimer's and dementia and brain aging, to name just a few things. As I said before, use it or lose it. And with this in mind, I'll definitely choose to use it. Now for the question I get all the time. How much exercise is enough? Which is a great question. The World Health Organization recommends 150 minutes of moderate intensity exercise per week. Now, if you break that down, it comes out to 30 minutes of exercise 5 days a week, minimum. This is a great recommendation for most people and a great starting point. The next question that comes from this is, what is considered moderate intensity exercise? For this, there is not a true clear-cut answer. It really depends on the level of fitness of the individual in question. A person who has a low level of fitness, moderate intensity exercise could be walking around the block for 30 minutes. For a highly trained person, it could be something more rigorous like swimming laps in a pool. For a better determination of this, I ask you to consult your health professional or exercise professional to really meet your individual need. Now, my hope is that this information has caused you to both think and self-assess where you are at personally. The question really is, what are you doing or what are you not doing to enjoy life to its fullest? What positive choices can you make to enhance your ability to experience what life truly has to offer? Now, I challenge you to start with basic human function, so that when you do make healthy choices, you can receive the full benefit of them. Chiropractic focuses on optimizing the body's ability to function, perceive, and adapt to the world we live in. I want you to call us today to schedule your complimentary initial health screening to find out how to experience the most out of your life. Remember, don't just survive, thrive.